Hi there, ready for another journey into history? Let's begin our story.
Lie back, now, and close your eyes. Let the walls around you melt like early morning mist. Beyond the hush of your quiet room, there waits a square knot of stone, alone, but of stories, breath, and the flicker of lantern flame. Picture it, a town, square, nestled at the heart of a drowsy medieval village. Cobblestones, round and smooth, cradle your steps as you drift through them, softer than a cat's sigh. Each stone remembers footsteps, pilgrims, merchants, laughing children chasing the dusk tonight, though they remember only you, the gentle soul wandering past the half-timbered houses. If your dreams gave you sandals of silver light above, the lanterns sway on iron hooks. Their flames are tiny nebulae, one a cradle of warmth. Soft gasps of star-born fire. They hang from wooden beams like patient moons, casting shadows that dance over doorways and thatched roofs. A breeze threads through the square. It carries the ghost of roasted chestnuts, the hush of bread cooling in an oven, the laughter of someone long gone but not forgotten. Here, in this square, time folds in on itself like a blanket around weary shoulders. Tonight, you are a guest of centuries, a visitor to the cradle of stories and stardust. Asterisk. On one side of the square, the weaver's cottage leans into the night, behind the diamond panes of the tiny window. A single candle flickers, a lone star pressed against the velvet sky of the cottage wall. You pause to watch. Inside, the weaver's loom shivers gently. Thread, spools whisper like tiny rivers. The weaver herself, Fan, old woman with hair the color of parchment, nods over her work. Half sleep, half dash dreaming, she weaves not cloth, but stories, the tales of this village caught in the shuttle's slow dance. She does not see your, perhaps she does, but pretends not to, for the dreamer must not disturb the dream. You watch her shuttle slip through the warp and weft, each thread a breath of the nebula you once were. In another age, you were dust. Now, you are flesh, wandering through the hush. One day, you will be dust again, but for now, you drift onward, trailing the weaver's threads behind you, like a comet trailing light through a winter sky. Asterisk, you leave the weaver's window. Behind and drift toward the fountain at the square's heart. It bubbles gently. A soft chorus of water on stone, its voice, a lullaby for restless souls by day. The fountain hosts children's laughter, splashing feet, but tonight, only the moon listens. You sit on the worn edge, feeling the chill of ancient stone seep through your dreamlike form. Here, stars are born anew. You peer into the pool, see the lanterns above shimmer, as if caught in a liquid sky. Your reflection drifts among them, a ghost among stars, a star among ghosts. Once, long ago, a drop of water harrows as vapor joined a cloud, and fell as rain on a distant roof a cycle, slow and patient like the life of a star. Nebula, warmth, flame, collapsum, then again, born anew. The fountain hums its secrets to you, no hurry, no rush here. You have centuries to listen, or only a heartbeat. They are the same in the squares. Hush, asterisk, a sweet scent drifts to you, now bred, still warm behind a shuttered door. The baker sleeps near his oven, his dreams filled with honey and salt, with kneading hands that shape hope from flour. You drift past. Your footsteps, so lithe mice beneath the floor, do not stir. Through the door's narrow gap, you glimpse baskets of loaves, row upon row, soft pillows for dawn's hunger. The stars in the sky overhead swell like rising dough. They ferment, they breathe, they feed on darkness. One day they will burst, scattering crumbs of light across the black tablecloth of the universe. But here in the square, the bread waits for morning. You do not take any, only the smell, the promise of warmth, a reminder that even stars bake themselves whole for giving all they have back to the dark. Asterisk, past the bakery, an alley curls like a cat's tail, and thereof corsets a cat, fur the color of candle ash, eyes bright as oil lamps. She watches you with a calm knowing, then rises and pads alongside you, her paws silent as a drifting feather. In this town, the cat is the keeper of the unseen, the spirits that coil in rafters, the secrets that cling to chimney smoke. She leads you to a cloaked figure standing at the edge of the square. The figure holds a staff topped with a tiny orba miniature, sun cradled in copper claws. He nods once, slowly, as if he's been expecting Yofer as long as stars have spun. You've come far. He whispers, his voice softer than a candle's sigh. But you must go farther still. He lifts his staff, and the orb pulses a seed of light ready to bloom behind your closed eyelids. You see it, the nebula swelling gas and dust, heat and birth. The cat purrs at your ankle. The cloaked figure turns and drifts into the mist, leaving you with the fountain's murmur, the weaver's threads, the baker's warmth, the cat's silent promise. Asterisk, tonight you stroll in circles, but each circle is a spiral, each spiral a galaxy. As you drift, so too does the star inside you, born in the hush, growing, pulsing, burning until it blooms into something vast, something soft, something ready to scatter seed stent. Might one night gather in a village square. A single lantern flickers, waiting for you to pass by. So sleep now. Let the cat curl beside you. Let the lanterns sway in your dreams. Let the weaver spin your story. In your story, your stardust, strolling through a cradle of centuries. Sleep, little. Nebulae are safe in the hush of stone and flame and whispered bread. Sleep and grow bright. Sleep and drift. Sleep. Asterix. Listen now. Do you hear it? Above the hush of cobblestones and drifting mist, a single bell breathes out its slow, silver song. It comes from the far end of the square, where a slender stone tower leans gently against the night sky, a finger pointing at distant stars that remember your shape before you were born. You drift closer, each step a falling star. The bell tolls again, not to wake the town, but to rock it deeper into its cradle of sleep. Inside the tower, gears turn like patient planets, wheels within wheels. Iron teeth that nibble at time's hem. They tick softly in rhythms older than kings, older than the weaver's hands, older than the cat's sly yawn. You slip through the tower door. It greets you with a wooden sigh, hinges older than memory. The stairs spiral upward, winding like the Milky Way wrapped around your sleeping thoughts. You climb one foot after another. The stones cold and smooth, worn hollow by monks and watchmen, by children sneaking up to watch the town below become a galaxy of lanterns at the top. You find the bell, a great bronze flower, frozen mid-bloom. It sways as you near, humming its ancient note. You press your palm to its flank. It is warm inside. It rings the heartbeat of your star, expanding, collapsing, remembering Yao, for you ever strolled here in your hush-soft shoes, asterisk from the tower's open archway. The town square below glows like a cluster of gentle suns. Tiled roofs gather moonlight like cupped hands. The fountain sparkles, a tiny spiral galaxy. The alley curls between shadows, the cat's tail winding still through dreams above. The sky opens wide for you alone. The constellations shiver into place. Orion hangs his belt over the bakery chimney. The Pleiades scatter like spilled flour across the sky's countertop. You know these stars. In sleep, you have drifted among them. Dust to dust, light to light, and now you stand in a bell tower, half in stone, half in dream, half in medieval villager, half a drifting nova. You lean against the ledge, close your eyes, and feel the bell's breath hum through your bones. The stars whisper back, grow, burn, scatter, return, asterisk below. At the tower's base, a figure appears, cloaked, lantern in hand. It is not the same cloaked figure as before. This one is smaller, stooped, carrying a ring of iron keys that rattle like tiny chimes. He lifts his lantern, a glass bubble holding a captured nebula, and its light spills up the tower steps, greeting you like a childhood friend at the edge of sleep. You descend, each step slow, footfalls wrapped in hushed thought at the bottom. The keeper of keys bows to you, his beard a silver waterfall spilling over his cloak. He says nothing. Instead, he lifts the key ring, so many teeth of iron, each one carved with a story, each one heavy with secrets and dreams left unspoken. One key glimmers brighter than the rest, its handle etched with a tiny sun, its blade shaped like a comet's tail. He presses it into your palm. Your fingers curl around it. Warm metal, ancient weight. The keeper smiles, a slow sunrise across his tired face. Then vanishes into the mist. Only the faint hush of his keys remains, echoing down the alley like wind chimes in an abandoned orchard. Asterisk, you carry your new key through the drifting square. The night breathes gently, a blanket pulled snug around the timbered houses. Lanterns sway. Shadows doze. The cat appears again, tail flicking, eyes like pinpricks of newborn stars. She leads you to a door you hadn't noticed before, set into the side of an ancient stone wall, half hidden behind ivy, thick as midnight. You stand before it, your key warm in your fist, a door in a square inside your dream, or perhaps you are the door, and the key is for your own hushed heart. You slide the key into the lock. It turns without a sound. The door sighs open, swinging inward on leather, hinges revealing a spiral staircase that glows like a nebulous heart. You step inside. Asterisk, the staircase carries you down, curling deeper than any cellar you have ever known, past stone walls that hum softly, past roots that whisper secrets of the square's buried years at the bottom. A chamber wide as the universe. Ceiling lost to shadows, and above, not stone, but stars glimmering like seeds waiting for your breath. In the center of the floor, a pool, dark as midnight, rimmed with silver coin, stars by wishes older than your bones. You kneel at its edge, peer into the mirrored surface. There, you see yourself, child of dust and dream, wanderer of squares and starfields. You dip your fingers in the water, shivers, then settles. Your reflection ripples into constellations, Orion's. Belt threads your spine. The Pleiades nestle in your heartbeat. And behind your eyes, a new sun stirs awake. Asterisk, you lie back on the cool stone floor. The cat curls beside you, purring a rhythm that matches the stars above. The chamber hums around you. Lantern, loom, bell, fountain, bread, all drift here, drifting through you in this medieval square, in this hidden chamber. You become the star once more. You expand gas, dust, memory, burning, gentle, warm. Bright dot, and when you can burn no more, you collapse inward, a hush of silver, a promise of return. Sleep. Now, little star, dream your square. Dream your lanterns. Dream your bread and fountains and bells. Dream the weaver's threads that cradle you back into the nebula's waiting arms. When you wake, you will stroll again through a square that lives only in the hush between heartbeat and dream. Sleep, drifting dust. Sleep, drifting flame. Sleep, asterisk, when your eyes flutter open again. The hidden chamber has faded behind you like mist dissolving in dawn's first breath. You find yourself standing once Moraine, the heart of the town square. Your hands empty now, but for warmth trickling through your vines like melted wax to your right. A small crooked shop waits beneath a sign of painted moons, the candlemaker's sign, swaying gently as if breathing out light. You drift to its door, your feet brushing fallen petals from unseen flowers. Inside, rows upon rows of candle stand, like silent villagers, tall tapers, squat jars, slender tapers dipped by careful hands. Their wicks curl like sleeping snakes, and the scents, lavender, beeswax, rose, tallow wrap around you in soft, invisible cloaks. At the far table, the candlemaker hums, voice low and steady as the turning gears in the bell tower. A young girl tonight, bare feet tucked beneath her stool, hair hidden in a kerchief, the color of twilight. She glances up, catching use if she's been waiting since before your first breath of dream. Take one, she murmurs, her voice a hush of flame. Take one, and carry it with you to the place behind the well. Her finger points slender, smudged with wax, toward a single candle, tall and thin. Its color, the pale gold of a distant star. You lift it gently. It is warm, though unlit, as if it holds a spark born in the space between your ribs. You nod. She smiles, and you drift out, once Morento, the hush of the square. The candle, your quiet companion. Asterisk at the far corner of the square, half swallowed by vines and sleepy ivy, stands an old stone well, its rim mossy, its rope coiled like a slumbering serpent. You stand before it, your candle resting in your palm. No bucket swings here, no echo of splashed water. Instead, the well breathes out cool night air, carrying murmurs you almost remember, names spoken once in kitchens, guttered long ago. You lean closer, peer into its throat of darkness, far below. A single light flickers, a reflection of your candle, though yours is still unlit. You hold your breath. Let your thoughts slide down the well's throat like coins, cast for wishes that, no, they may never return. Once you were dust. The well hums. Now you are flame. One day you will scatter again, names drifting among stars that never forget. You dip. The candles wick into the well's breath. A tiny flame blooms, shy and soft. It curls around the wick like a child clutching a blanket. You lift it back, cradling this new spark, your own starlight, born of the well's hush. Asterisk, lantern in hand. Your lantern, your candle, you drift on. The cat joins you again, silent but watchful above. The bell tower sighs its slow, bronze breath, counting out the moments you lose like beads, slipping through sleep-slick fingers in the square's farthest edge. A hush of figures gathers villagers wrapped in cloaks of dusk and dream. Faces hidden behind soft masks of moonlight. They stand in a circle, waiting. No words pass their lips, only the gentle sound of breathing, the flutter of a cloak, the hush of feet on stone. You step into their ring, your candle held aloft. They part for you, a seam in the night's fabric, and as you pass, each figure bows, not in worship, but in kinship, a brotherhood of wandering sparks. One by one, they raise their own candles, tiny galaxies held at arm's length. They nod to you, and you to them. No need for tongues or teeth or echoing words. Together you drift, a procession of stars, a hush of lanterns through the square, past the fountain's gentle sigh, past the weaver's window, now dark but dreaming still, past the bakery where warmth sleeps beneath flowered cloth. Asterisk, the procession winds to the edge of the village, where the last cottages lean inward as if to share secrets before sleep. There, in a clearing crowned by ancient oaks, waits a single hearth. No walls around it, only sky, stone, and ash cradle the small fire, a patient heart. Fed by driftwood and whispers, you and your silent companions gather close. Candles circling the flame-like planets wrapped in warmth. The cat curls at your feet, tail flicking once before you, settling into a tight ring of fur and dreams. One by one, each villager bends low, touches their candle's flame to the hearth's core, feeding it not to burn brighter, but to remind it that it does not burn alone. When your turn comes, You kneel. Your candle kisses the fire. A soft exhale, a promise in the hush of embers. You hear it, the nebula's lullaby, the murmur of collapse and birth. The hush of dust gathering itself again. The villagers stand or drift or fade, leaving you alone beside the hearth. Above, the stars lean closer, mirroring the circle below. Asterisk, you lie down by the hearth, stone cool at your back, fire warm at your chest. The cat's purr echoes the hum of distant stars. Your candle rests, spent beside you, wax pooling like silver moons. In this hush, you feel it all, the squares, cobblestones, the fountain's breath, the bell tower's bronze sigh. The weaver's threads bind your thoughts. The baker's warmth wraps your ribs. The candle maker's wax glimmers behind your closed eyes. You drift nebula once more, cradled in the hush of a square that never truly sleeps. Tomorrow you will wake. Tomorrow you will stroll again. Tomorrow the lanterns will sway. The bell will hum. The bread will rise. The loom will whisper. But for now, sleep. Little star, sleep. Drifting ember, sleep. Old wish cast into a well that remembers every name, sleep. Asterisk, when your eyes flutter, open again. The hearth has cooled to a wah. Hush of embers, and the stars above blink slowly, like old friends drowsing in a cradle of ink. You sit up, brushing cinders from your cloak, and find the cat gone, but her warmth lingers like a quiet promise wrapped around your ankles. Somewhere behind you, a door stands ajar, a door not built of timber or stone, but of drifting mist and woven sighs. You pass through it without pushing, without fear. Your feet bare now, brushing soft mossed hums beneath each step like a heartbeat. The path curls downward, gentle as a lullaby. Small lanterns bloom on either side, tiny fireflies caught in glass, swaying as you pass, nodding their small heads aflame ahead. In a hollow where the air tastes of old parchment, waits the keeper of dreams. He is neither young nor old, his shape shifting as your eyes try to hold him. He wears a robe spun of midnight's edge, and his voice, when he greets Yao, sounds like the hush between pages turning. Come closer, he murmurs, and when he lifts his palm, you see tiny stars drifting there, seeds of sleep, husks of wishes, dreams that slipped from lips long ago, found a cradle in his gentle grasp. Asterisk, the keeper beckons you on, and the hollow opens wider, revealing a library that breathes. Here, beneath the old squares, stones. Dreams are inked in endless books stacked on shelves that curve like galaxies, spiraling up and down until they vanish in the soft fog of candlelight. You drift past spines etched with namesy. Almost remember old loves, lost friends, the echo of a child's laugh tucked between pages. The keeper's fingers brush a row of leather bindings, each one shivering under his touch. When he pauses, he pulls one free, its cover dusted in gold that pulses like a heartbeat. He holds it out to you. Its weight is comforting in your palms, not heavy, but full. Your name glows faintly on the spine, woven with threads of starlight and bread, lantern oil and bell chimes. This is your stroll, the keeper says, his voice quieter. Then candle smoke, every footstep, every hush recorded here, line by line, woven into the square's slow breath. He turns, leading you deeper, where stories drip from the ceiling like slow rain, pooling into pages yet unwritten. Asterisk at the chamber's heart stands a great desk, its surface polished, smooth by centuries of resting hands. Above it hangs a single lantern, its flame the soft pulse of a newborn sun. The keeper gestures for you to sit. Before you lies a blank page, paper softer than moth wings, edges curling gently as if to greet your fingertips. He hands you a quill, a feather that might have fallen from a passing comet's tail. You have walked far, he says, his eyes drifting like moons. You have burned bright. Now, bind your flame to this page, that you may scatter when you're ready and drift when you're needed. You lower the quill dot, it trembles in your hand, yet your heart stays steady, each beat echoing the hush of the square above. Slowly you write, not with words alone, but with your breath. Your memories pressed into ink, the looms hush, the baker's warmth, the cat's purr, the well's forgotten names. With each line, a star inside you collapses inward, becoming small enough to fit between pages, vast enough to birth new constellations. Sin the mind of any dreamer reads your hush. When your last word spills into the hush, the keeper lifts the page, presses it closed between covers, soft as dusk. The book hums once a low, satisfied sigh and slides itself into a waiting shelf, nestling beside 1,000 other hearts that once burned as yours now does. The keeper bows, his robe gathering the shadows like water. He hands you a small lantern, the one that burned above the desk. This is yours now. He whispers, carry it when you drift. When the hush feels thin, let this flame remind you that Your square is never far. You cradle the lantern inside. The flame flickers soft and patient, mirroring the hush behind your ribs. Asterisk, you step from the archive, lantern in hand, and the mossy path lifts you slowly, gently upward through layers of old stone-nend sighing. Root sand cobblestones that remember every heel and toe when you emerge. The square greets you like a held breath. Lanterns still sway above doorways. The fountain hums its soft song. The loom sleeps behind shuttered glass. The cat waits at the well. She flicks her tail once, then pads to your feet, curling around your ankles as if to anchor you here above. The stars bloom wider, 1,000 tiny bells that ring only in dreams. You lift your lantern high, its hush of flame drifting, sky wartoe join the hush of distant suns. You stand in the heart of your dream, your square, your cradle, your endless spiral from dust to flame to hush again. And when you are ready, when sleep curls its soft arms around your shoulders, you drift once more into the hush. A single spark among many, bright enough to guide any wandering soul back to this square again and again, asterisk, in the hush of your lantern's glow. You notice a narrow street you hadn't seen before, a seam in the square's familiar patchwork, stitched between the baker's warm wall and the ivy-curtained well. The cat slips ahead, tail high, shoulders brushing old bricks that breathe warmth from centuries of sun dot. At the end of this street stands a low door painted deep indigo, hinges wrought of iron cured like sleeping snails. Above it, a sign swings gently. The clockmaker. You press your palm to the door. It sighs open at your touch. Inside, time sleeps in quiet pieces. Tiny brass gears, copper wheels, pendulums that doze like cradled moons. The air smells of oil, cedar shavings, and the faint iron sweetness of arsmended and wound. The clockmaker sits hunched over his bench, a man folded like a paper swan, spectacles perched at the tip of his nose like twin moons, balanced on a bridge. He lifts his head when you enter, eyes bright as candle flames, fingers smudged with old time. Ah, he hums, his voice like velvet. Your footsteps were due a moment ago, or perhaps a year hence. Time does as it pleases. He gestures to a small clock. Its face is not brass, but dark, polished wood, and in its heart spins a tiny star, glowing, gentle, and slow. Asterisk, the clockmaker picks up a winding keysmell, enough to lose in a coat pocketute, heavy enough to anchor a drifting thought. He holds it out to you, its handle shaped like a crescent moon. its teeth cut to fit the hidden lock, every beating heart. You've come far, he says, echoing the keeper's soft words. Every lantern you passed, every hush you carried, it all winds you forward or backward, depending. He lifts your lantern, sets it gently beside the little clock. The flame within your lantern shivers once, then leans closer to the tiny spinning star. The clockmaker presses the key into your palm. Keep it safe. One day, when your flame flickers wind, it forward time will carry you where you need to be. You tuck the key into your pocket. It warms the fabric like a heartbeat. The clockmaker smiles once, a fleeting crescent like his key, then bows over his bench, already drifting back into the hush of springs and gears. You lift your lantern. The tiny star inside the clock pulses once, then dims. Dreams stored for another walker woe will one day stand where you stand now. Asterisk outside again. The square welcomes you, as if it had been holding its breath, waiting for your hush to join its own. Above the rooftops, the bell tower hums, its gears slow dancing in the dark. A hush of figures gathers once more, hooded villagers, shapes woven from candles smokened the hush of lullabies. This time, they carry no candles. Instead, they lift their hands, palms open, catching starlight like rain. You stand among them, your lantern raised. Inside, your flame flickers, mirroring the hush of your ribs. The figures hum a song without words. Without teeth, a lullaby for the square. For you, for every drifting step brought you her end will carry you on, one by one. The villagers drift away, their shapes dissolving into the mist like the hush at the end of a bedtime tale. Only the cat remains. She weaves between your ankles, tail brushing your calf, purring soft agreement with the bell tower's slow sigh, asterisk above. The sky swells with velvet ink. Stars gather at your feet, caught in puddles left by the fountain's slow breathing. You kneel beside the fountain once more, its rim worn smooth by centuries of wishes. Your lantern rests on the stone edge inside. The flame curls inward, smaller, softer, drawn by the hush of water. You dip your fingertips into the pool, cold, ancient, patient. Your reflection greets you, eyes wide with sleep, pockets lined with winding keys, and hush deep in the water. You see your star, the one that spun in the clockmaker's tiny clock, the one that glowed in the keeper's pages. It swells gently, gas and dust folding inward, becoming denser, brighter, then so small it vanishes into a hush, too quiet to name around. You, the square, holds its breath. Lanterns flicker. Cats purr, looms sleep, bakers dream of rising bread, and you drift inward to collapsing like your star. Gathering your light into a single side hat will someday scatter into someone else's hush. Asterisk when you stand again. The cat has curled at your feet, tail tucked around her nose. You lift your lantern one last time inside. The flame breathes out a tiny sigh, then settles into a hush as soft as sleep. You set it beside the fountain, a cave, for the next dreamer wanders through this square dot above. The constellations blink tiny stitches. In the quilt of night. You close your eyes. You drift backward through the square, past the weaver's window, the bakery's warm sigh, the bell tower's bronze breath, the hidden chamber where your name hums on a page. And when you reach your door, the one carved of dream and hush, you step through, lantern gone, key warm. Star asleep in the hush behind your eyes. The square waits forever, lantern lit, forever gentle, forever ready to gather your footsteps into its cradle of stardust and sleep. Asterisk sleeps, hush settles around you like a soft cloak draped over your shoulders. You stand at the edge of your square again, though now it feels softer somehow. Edges blurred by the gentle drift of lantern lightened the memory of a star that breathed itself small near the old EV-wrapped well. Your lantern flickers where you left it, a tiny heartbeat in the cradle of the square stones. It has waited for you the way dawn waits behind a shutter, the way the loom waits for the weaver's hand. You lift it again inside. The flame flutters awake, recognizing your hush, your breath, your promise to keep strolling Gavin when your eyelids droop. The cat stretches by your heel. She has waited to. Her purr wraps around your ankles, a velvet thread tying you to the stones beneath your feet. Asterisks past the fountain, past the loom's window, past the bakery's dreaming warmth. You notice another narrow lane, a ribbon of stone you hadn't seen before, hidden behind the weavers. Cottage where ivy climbs the timber beams like green constellations. The cat slips ahead. You follow. Lantern held low, its flame painting soft moonsin, shuttered doors and mossy steps. The lane opens into a walled garden, stone walls cradling tangled vines, old rose bushes heavy with sleep. A fig tree leans in the corner, its branches thick with leaves that trembline the hush of your passing. At the garden's heart waits a stone bench, mottled with lichen and centuries of soft rain. You sit. The lantern rests beside you, its flame nodding in the hush. Asterisk in this garden. The stars drift closer, their glow caught on thorns and leaves, turning every petal into a tiny cathedral window. You see them, wishes caught in spider silk, dreams nestled in curled leaves, the hush of someone's hope wrapped in a falling fig, dot above the bench. A single vine dips low, bearing a flower that blooms only for you, pale, moon-faced, trembling with secrets. You lift your lantern, the flame bows forward, touching the flower with its hush. For a moment, the whole garden breathes. Roses sigh, the fig tree hums. The stone beneath you warms with the hush of old hands that built this wall, planted these seeds, wished for someone like Yuto. Sit here in the night and listen. Asterisk, the cat leaps onto the bench, paws dainty as falling petals. She curls at your side, per rising and falling like a tiny tide beneath your feet. You feel it, the faint heartbeat of water, a well deeper than the one in the square. Hidden under roots and stones, you kneel on the moss, lantern steady. Your hand brushes aside damp leaf sand, finds a circle of old stones. A well mouth so small it could fit in your palm. Yet inside it holds the whole hush of your square. You hold the lantern above the well. Its flame flickers, peering downward, spilling warmth into the cool breath below. Far down, a single ripple answers you, a droplet falling from a root's tender tip, meeting its reflection, becoming hush again. Asterisk, when you lift your head, another figure stands at the garden's edge, not cloaked this time, but robed in leaves, hair woven with tiny blossoms that open and close as she breathes. She is the keeper of the garden, though she smiles. She needs no words. She lifts a palm. On it rests a single seed, round and smooth as a pearl, warm as your own heartbeat. She places it in your hand. It hums softly, matching your lantern's flicker. She points to the well beneath the roots. You understand this seed, this hush, this drifting stroll of yours must return to the deep, must rest, must bloom again one. Some other dreamer sits centuries from now. You open your palm. The seed slips from your fingers, drifts down into the hush beneath the roots. The keeper bows, a sigh of leaves and flowers, then vanishes into the garden's breath. Asterisk, you rise. Lantern steady, the cat trailing you through roses and ivy. The bench behind you hums, its stone warm. With your hush dot past the garden gate, the lane winds, Bekinto, the square's soft arms. The fountain welcomes you with its murmured lullaby. The bell tower sighs above its slow bronze breath, echoing your own dot at the square's heart. You pause, your lantern flickers, the flame small now. but bright enough to stitch the Hashinto, your eyelids, your bones. Your next slow dream, the cat rubs your ankle, a final touch, an anchor. A promise that this stroll will wait for you whenever sleep calls you home. You kneel at the fountain's rim. Set your lantern down beside your reflection. Your eyes bright as hush, your breath drifting into the slow hush of stars. Sleep, little seed, sleep, slow flame, sleep, keeper of the square slow sigh. Asterisk, you stand once more at the fountain's edge, the hush of your lantern folding into the water's sigh. The cat has slipped away, but her warmth lingers like a hush behind your ribs, somewhere above. The loom calls you back, threads humming through shuttered windows, threads that weave. The squares hush into cloth-tipped keeps. Villagers warm through winter's slow breath. You drift to the weaver's cottage door, ajar. Lantern glow, spilling soft gold across the threshold like a welcome mat woven from dream and dusk. Inside. The loom waits. Empty now, but not asleep. Its shuttle rests in the weaver's chair. Its threads hum with half-finished story steed to your footsteps, your hush, your flame. You slip into the chair. It fits you like a memory. The wood warm from countless nights. Your hands find the shuttle, fingers guiding it through warp and weft. Thread whispering as it passes, binding your stroll into the cloth folded on the weaver's waiting table. Asterisk, the cloth is simple, undyed linen, soft edged with a border of tiny stars, stitched by the loom's quiet hum as you guide the shuttle. The cloth grows each pass binding the fountain's hush, the well's deep breath. The bell tower's sigh, a tiny scrap of moonlight slips through the open window, catching on the thread, turning its silver where it touches, like frost on a baker's doorstep at dawn. You fold the finished cloth gently, lay it across your lap. Its weight settles your shoulders, anchors your drifting thoughts. Somewhere in its weave, the cat's purr lingers, a hush tucked between warp and weft, a promise that sleep always finds ye in lanterns grow dim. Asterisk behind you. The weaver appears, an old woman tonight, her hair coiled like spun wool, her fingers stained with dyeth color of midnight ink. She smiles, lips thin but soft, eyes bright with stars she once tied into cloth for children long grown. She lifts the cloth from your lap, inspects the weave with eyes that seethe, hush hidden between each fiber. Well done, she says, her voice a hush of moth wings. You've wrapped your lantern's flamey, something that will warm the next dreamer. She folds it again, once twice, then tucks it under your arm. For when you wake, she says, for when the cobblestones feel cold, when the square's hush feels too far. She rests her hand on your shoulder, and for a moment, her warmth feels like the looms hum woven into the hush behind your ribs. Then she drifts back to her loom, already threading the next hush, the next dream, the next slow spiral of stardust and sleep. Asterisk, you slip from the weaver's cottage, cloth warm beneath. Your arm, the square greets you like an old lullaby, lanterns swaying, stones breathing. The fountain murmuring the same secretate told the first star that ever collapsed into dusk. You kneel at the fountain's rim, water cool against your fingers, echoing the hush that drifts in your veins. You spread the cloth across the fountain's edge. It catches the starlight, silver threads blooming as moonlight kisses them. The cloth soaks up the fountain's sigh, gathering droplets that glimmer like tiny galaxias stitched into linen and hush. You know that when you wake, this cloth will wait for you, a reminder that you once drifted through a square that never forgets you, to hush you back to sleep. Asterisk, you lift your lantern one last time inside. The flame stirs, tiny but patient, a soft spark that remembers well. The loom, the garden, the bell tower, you place it beside the cloth, a guardian for the hush you've woven, a promise that some other dreamer will find this square's gentle breath. The night feels too dark. The cat returns, brushing your ankle, her tail flicking once, like a comma in a sentence, yet finished. Above, the constellations pulse, each one a hush stitched into the black velvet of the sky, each one holding your name somewhere in its slow, soft breath. Asterisk cloth folded, flame flickering, cat winding circles at your feet. The fountain hushes you back. The well hums beneath the cobblestones. The loom sighs behind shuttered glass. Your eyelids grow heavy. Your ribs hum with the memory of the winding key tucked safe in your pocket. And far above, your star drifts, expanding, collapsing. Seeding the hush with new dust sat will settle one diento, a square where someone else will walk, lantern in hand, hush in their chest, cat trailing soft footsteps, sleep's gentle hush. Asterisk, sleep now. Little weaver, sleep. Hush, dash keeper, dot sleep. Lantern barrel stitches constellations into cobblestones. When you wake, the square will wait, lanterns lit, fountain breathing, bell tower humming its slow bronze sigh. You will stroll again, key in your pocket, hush in your ribs, cloth across your shoulders like a blanket of woven stars. You will stroll again, and when you do, this hush will greet you with soft footsteps, warm stones, and the hush of stardust drifting home. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Asterisk, tonight. A breeze curls through the square, a hush that lifts the edge of your woven cloth, tugs gently at the lantern's soft flame, whispers against your ankle where the cat's tail flicks. You follow this breeze into an alazo narrow you must turn. Your shoulders sideways slip through. Its walls are ancient brick, worn smooth by centuries of shoulders and palms, by children chasing laughter that echoes like tiny bells in the hush of this alley. Your footsteps sound softer, as if each step is caught by the stones, stored for someone else to find one. They drift here after you. Tiny windows blink overhead, square holes where lamplight spills, turning the alley into a seam stitched with gold thread. Your lantern hums in your hand, its flame bowing to the hush, its light catching on couples the nest. Remember, every foot that ever Pasadand still hold. Each footstep close. Asterisk, at the alley's end waits a door, no sign above it. No iron handle, only a wooden plank worn by touch, painted once but now faded. To the hush of old parchment, you press your palm to the wood, expecting your winding key to fit somewhere, to turn some hidden latch dot. But there is no lock dot, no latch dot, no rusted keyhole waiting for your crescent tooth. Promise, instead, the door opens at your hush alone, hinges breathing like a sleepy cat, welcoming you inside. Asterisk, beyond the door lies a hall lined with candles, hundreds, perhaps thousands, each flame a tiny heartbeat, each wick a whisper caught in wax. The air is warm, scented with tallow and lavender. Smoke curling upward in ribbons that twist into constellations beneath the roof's beams. You drift between the candles, lantern held low at your side, its small flame bowing to the many flames around it in the hush. You hear them, footsteps echoing yours, not loud, but soft as breath against your ear. These footsteps belong to everyone well ever strolled the square. Whoever paused at the fountain, whoever pressed a coin into the wells, hushened, waited for their wish to echo back. Asterisk, at the hall's far end, a figure waits, no robe, no hood, no mask, simply a man tonight, barefoot, sleeves rolled, palms smudged with soot and wax. He lifts a single candle from a shelf, cradles it in his large hands as if it might drift away if you let it go. This one is yours, he says, and his voice is the hush of your own thoughts. You stand alone by the fountain at dusk. He places the candle in your free palm. Its flame bows toward your lantern's flame. The two greet each other like old friends meeting. At the crossroads of your ribs, your footsteps do not vanish. The keeper murmurs, they drift here, each step a spark, each spark a hush that keeps the square breathing. He steps back. Behind him, the candle flames flicker, thousands of tiny footsteps waiting to drift again, carried by dreamers who will follow your hush lung after you slip into sleep. You carry your candle back through the door, back into the narrow alley, where the stones show your steps into their ancient hush. The cat appears at your heel, nose brushing your ankle, her purr mingling with the slow breath of your lantern flame. Your new candle burns steady, its tiny flame another stitch in the cloth tucked warm beneath your arm. When you reach the square, the stars above blink slower, as if they too grow sleepy, watching your footsteps drift. Asterisk, the square greets you. The fountain murmurs. The loom sighs. The bell tower lifts its bronze breath into the hush. You pause again at the well, the one wrapped in ivy, its mouth dark as sleep. You kneel, lantern and candle flickering side by side. Inside the well, the hush deepens, no echo tonight. Only the hush of water curling slow circles far below. You hold your candle above the well's mouth, its flame bows once, and the hush catches it gently, carrying your footsteps down the rope of roots where the well's oldest secrets. The cat curls at your feet. You close your eyes. The hush gathers you in star. Flame, cloth, footsteps, woven soft as sleep. Asterisk, sleep now. Little flame dash keeper, sleep. Hush, dash bearer, dot sleep. Drifting seed of stardust, folded gently in the square's soft ribs. Your footsteps remain here, tucked in the alley, cradled in candlelight, echoed by stones that hum your hush to every star above. When you wake, your lantern will wait, its small flame steady, your cloth folded soft at your side, your winding key warm in your pocket. You will stroll again when the hush calls you home. Sleep now, sleep now, sleep dot sleep. Asterisk, tonight the square feels softer still, cobbles warm beneath your feet. The hush deeper than the hush of water. You stand at the fountain's edge, your lantern and candle side by side, two gentle flames bowing to the night's breath. Above, the bell tower leans closer. Its bronze heart sleeps between chimes, its gears resting in pools of oils, the smell of time itself. The cat nudges your ankle, a quiet invitation, so you drift across the square. Your steps slow as the hush inside your ribs. At the tower's door, you pause, an arch of stone, older than memory, carved with marks worn soft by rain and dream. The door creaks open under your fingertips, not in protest, but in welcome. Inside, the stair curls upward like a snail's shell. Each step a breath held in the dark. Asterisk, you lift your lantern. Its hush spills onto the stone walls, revealing tiny scratches, names, dates, small wishes pressed into the mortar by hands woe. Climbed these steps long before you. I too each step sighs under. Your foot echoes rising and folding back into themselves. A hush caught between stone and flame. The cat pads ahead, her paws silent as falling petals. Now and then she glances back, eyes bright in the lantern's slow sway, tail curling like smoke. When you reach the landing, the belfry greets you, a chamber of wood beams and brass wheels. The bell hanging in the hush like a sleeping heart. Asterisk, you stand beneath the bell, its skin dark with centuries of fingertips, its edges softened by the hush of countless chimes. Your lantern rests at your feet, its flame flickering in the drafts that curl through the tower's open arches. You press your palm to the bell's side. It hums beneath your skin, a low murmur that seeps into your bones. You close your eyes, and inside the hush you feel it. The stars' slow pulse, the looms sigh, the gardens hidden well. The alleys echo of footsteps, forgotten but never truly lost. The bell breathes it all back to you, one deep hush, one gentle murmur, one soft promise that every flame you leave behind lights the path for someone else to drift home. Asterisk, a figure leans in the far corner, wrapped in a cloak the color of dusk. Face hidden beneath the brim of an old hat patched with silver thread. He nods when you meet his gaze. No words needed here, only the hush that passes between keepers of small flames. He lifts a small hammer, its head worn smooth, its handle carved with tiny stars. He presses it into your hand. Cool, warm, hush, strike. Once, he murmurs, his voice like wind slipping through leaves. Wake the hush, let the square breathe. Asterisk, you lift the hammer, it feels right in your grip, like the winding key, warm in your pocket, like the cloth folded beneath your arm. You breathe once, twice, then let the hammer kiss the bell's edge. A single note spills out, not loud, not sharp, just a hush that drifts down the stairwell, through the alley, across the fountain's sigh. It touches the loom's shuttered window, stirs the ashes in the baker's stove, ripples through the well's dark throat, a lullaby of bronze, a murmur of time, a hush that stitches your footsteps. Cinto, the square's slow dream. Asterisk, you leave the hammer beside the keeper. He bows once, the brim of his hat dipping like a crescent. Moon, caught on a branch, you lift your lantern. Its flame steadier now, bright enough to guide your feet back down the spiral stair. Step by step, your hush joins the hush caught in the stone's old footsteps. Soft echoes, tiny secrets pressed into mortar. The cat slips ahead, her purr drifting back to you like a promise that your star still breathes, tucked somewhere above this old belfry. Asterisk, outside again. The square greets you, a hush of warm stones, lanterns nodding in the breeze. The fountains hush deeper than before. Your candle flickers in your palm, its flame small but sure. You kneel by the fountain. The cat curls beside you, tail tucked over her nose. You set your lantern at the fountain's edge, your candle beside. It two flames weaving their hush together. Above, the stars bloom wide, a scatter of seeds waiting to drift, to find new soil in the hush behind someone's eyelids. Your eyes grow heavy, your breath drifts slow, the bell's hush hums in your ribs. You fold yourself into the square's gentle heart, keeper of flames, weaver of hush, stroller through a lantern-lit dreamt that never truly ends. Sleep, sleep dot, asterisk, when the fountain's last ripple settles, when the bell tower sighs its final hush, when the loom's threads rest warm and still, you remain, kneeling at the square's quiet heart, lantern at your side. Flame bowed low, the cat curls into your lap, a soft, warm weight, her purr stitching your heartbeat, tang to the stones beneath you, above. Your star swells once more, gas and dust folding inward, then blooming outward in a soft, silver sigh, a supernova in slow motion, its petals drifting down through centuries of dreamstow. Settle in the fountain's hush, you lower your eyelids, your winding key rests warm in your pocket. The cloth of woven hush draped over your shoulders, your candle's last flicker folded into the dark like a letter sealed with sleep. No footsteps now, only your breath, drifting through the square like mist at dawn. When you wake, the cobblestones will remember, the well will hum your secret name, the loom will sigh your hush back into cloth, the bell will murmur its bronze promise. You were here, you dreamed, you drifted home. The cat shifts in your lap, curling deeper. As you lean back against the fountain's warm stone, your lantern's flame bows once, then folds into the hush. Joining the star that drifts above you, becoming stardust once more. And you drift too, folded in the hush of your square. Safe in the soft cradle where every breath is a footstep, every footstep a flame, every flame a hush, and every hush a home. Sleep. Now, dreamer, sleep deep, sleep well. The square will wait for you. Always, lanterns lit, cat purring, stars drifting. Always, good night, that end.